exactly has Johnson Johnson been accused of in many cases? There's a long legal history here.
Yeah, so Johnson Jonhson has been accused of knowing of studies that suggested there's a link between using baby powder genitally and ovarian cancer, and that they've never put a warning on the label.
And what has Johnson Johnson said in return? Indeed, there have been many of these cases. Plaintiffs have won some, others have been, they haven't won others. So what have they said in response? What's the company said?
So Johnson Jonhson defends the safety of talcum powder, which is what baby powder is made of, says that it has known about the studies, but concluded that whatever association there is weak, that the data was flawed, and that they feel very confident in continuing to sell it without a warning label.
I mean, it's an absolutely fascinating story, Susan, and a gut-wrenching, tragic one as well. And give us a sense of what's heading to court. In St. Louis, we understand that there's going to be a hearing coming up in the next month.
Yeah, so next month, there's a woman who is 62 years old and was diagnosed with ovarian cancer a couple years ago and had used baby powder for 20 years. And she, like the other women before her, claiming that Johnson Johnson should have at least put a warning on the label. Then women are free to make a choice, but that they didn't know, and now they're suing the company. There was an earlier case in St. Louis in the end of February, which prompted this story. And in that case, the woman had died before the case came to trial, but her family was awarded $72 million.
Yeah, it's amazing, articulated in your story of the tragedy, and indeed the son who seemed to break into tears when he got that award. But tell us about what this all means for Johnson Johnson, because they have really cashed in on the branding of the talcum powder, of the baby element, and the fact that it can be used by anyone and everyone. How much is this going to hurt their bottom line?
Yeah, so, Johnson Johnson has been selling baby powder almost since the company started. And it's really the foundation for their baby business and also, for their image as, the baby company. We all know the products that they sell. So I think this hurts it from its image, but it doesn't necessarily have an impact on its bottom line yet. The awards are sizable, certainly for the families, but not by Johnson Johnson standards. But I think the greater potential harm to the company comes from what people think about, a company that's being accused of hiding some fairly important information from its customers.
Susan, do you have a sense if there's any sort of debate within the company? You have some signs indicating that, in fact, this may be carcinogenic. You have the company here saying that's not, the company overall saying that it's not. Is there a debate going on within Johnson Johnson, you think, over how it should proceed as these cases come up?
I don't know the real answer to that. What I can say is probably any company in a position like this would have to be having some kind of discussion. And I think it really depends ultimately who prevails. Is it the lawyers? Is it the executives? Is it the scientists? Is it the marketers, who now have a problem on their hands?
All right, Susan, thank you so much. That's Susan
Thank
Berfield
you.
of Bloomberg Businessweek. You can read her latest story in the latest issue of Bloomberg Businessweek on newsstands and online.